I pulled into the driveway at 6:47 p.m., my work truck making that familiar ticking sound it always does when the engine finally cools down. 12 hours at the hospital maintenance department, most of it spent wrestling with a busted HVAC unit in the surgical wing. My back was screaming, my hands smelled like industrial degreaser, and all I wanted was a hot shower and maybe some leftover pizza if there was any left. The house lights were all on. That should have been my first clue. I came in through the side door, dropping my keys in the bowl on the counter. Before I could even unlace my boots, she was there, standing in the kitchen doorway with her arms crossed, wearing that black dress she only pulls out when she's about to make a point. "We need to talk." I looked up at her. "Can I at least get my boots off first?" "No, this is important." She stepped closer, and I could see it in her eyes. That look that meant she'd been building something up in her head all day, rehearsing this moment, ready to deliver it like a script. "I went to the mall today with Laya and Cora." "Okay." "And I saw the most perfect bag. Designer. All the women at the gym have one. It would be perfect for my new wardrobe." I waited. There was always more. "It's $4,000. I just stared at her. $4,000. We had maybe $1,700 in savings, and that was supposed to go toward fixing the roof, the one that leaked into the spare bedroom every time it rained hard. "You're joking." Her face hardened. "I'm not joking. I deserve nice things. I work hard too, you know." She worked part-time as a receptionist at a dental office. 20 hours a week. I didn't say that out loud. "We can't afford a $4,000 bag right now. The roof needs fixing, and we're still paying off the credit card from your trip to Miami with the girls." That was 3 months ago. Get over it. "We're still paying for it." She took a step toward me, her voice getting louder. "You never want me to have anything nice. You're always making excuses, always saying we can't afford it. Maybe if you worked harder, we could." I felt something settle in my chest, something cold and clear. This wasn't new. This was the same conversation we'd had a dozen times in the past year, just with different price tags attached. "I worked a 12-hour shift today," I said quietly. "I've been working 50-hour weeks for the past 2 months because you wanted that new dining set, the one we eat at maybe twice a week. That's different." "How?" "Because I needed that. This is something I need too. All my friends have designer bags. I'm embarrassed to show up with my old one." I looked at her, really looked at her, watching her face. She wasn't kidding. She was actually embarrassed. Over a bag. "We're not buying a $4,000 bag." Her eyes went wide, then narrow. "Excuse me?" "You heard me. We're not buying it." She pointed her finger at me, her voice sharp and deliberate. "Fine. Then you know what? You're sleeping on the couch every single night until you apologize and buy me that bag." I waited a beat. "Okay." That caught her off guard. She blinked. "What?" I said, "Okay, no problem at all." She opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. "You're just going to agree? Just like that?" "Sure, the couch is fine." She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. This wasn't how these fights usually went. Usually I'd argue, she'd cry, I'd feel guilty, and we'd compromise on something slightly less expensive that we still couldn't afford. Not this time. "Well, good. I'm going out. Leia invited me to the club downtown. Don't wait up." She grabbed her purse and walked past me, her heels clicking on the tile floor. The door slammed behind her. I stood there in the kitchen for maybe 30 seconds, listening to her car start and pull out of the driveway. Then I pulled out my phone, First call was to Baxter Moving Company. They answered on the second ring. Yeah, hi. I need a full house move tonight. How soon can you get a crew here? The guy on the other end hesitated. Tonight? That's going to cost extra for the emergency rate. That's fine. How soon? We can have a crew there in 2 hours. You got a lot of stuff? Just 1 bedroom worth, a TV, some kitchen things. My stuff only. Should be pretty quick. All right. Send me the address. Second call was to Timothy, my best friend since high school. He picked up on the first ring. Hey man, what's up? You still got that spare room? Yeah, why? I need it tonight. There was a pause. She finally pushed too far? Way too far. Doors open. You know where the key is. Third call was to the lawyer I'd consulted 3 weeks ago. I left a voicemail. Hey, it's me. We talked a few weeks back about the divorce papers. I need you to file them tomorrow morning. I'll come by your office at 8. I hung up and looked around the kitchen. The sink was full of her dishes. The counter had her mail scattered across it, mostly credit card offers and promotional flyers from expensive stores. The calendar on the wall had her nail appointments, her gym sessions, her lunch dates marked in pink ink. My schedule wasn't on there at all. The moving truck pulled up at 8:43 p.m. 3 guys got out, and I met them at the door. All right, here's the deal. Just my things. Bedroom on the left upstairs, my clothes, my TV from the living room, my tools from the garage, and the kitchen stuff that's actually mine. Leave everything else exactly where it is. The crew chief, an older guy with a gray beard, looked at me and nodded slowly. Got it. We've done these before. Don't worry, we'll be quick and clean. They were professionals. In 90 minutes, they had everything loaded. My clothes, my furniture that I'd brought into the marriage, my TV, my PlayStation, my books, my tools. I walked through each room one last time, making sure I hadn't left anything I'd need. Her clothes still hung in the closet. Her makeup covered the bathroom counter. Her shoes were scattered across the bedroom floor. Her furniture, her decorations, her $300 espresso machine, all still there. I left the house keys on the kitchen counter, right next to where the divorce papers would be delivered tomorrow morning. The moving truck followed me to Timothy's place across town. He helped me unload everything into his spare room and the garage. You okay? He asked when we finished. Better than I've been in months? He nodded. Beer? Yeah, that sounds good. We sat on his back porch and I told him everything. Not just tonight, but the past 2 years. The spending, the manipulation, the constant demands. The credit card she'd opened in my name without telling me. The one I discovered 3 weeks ago when I checked my credit score and saw $8,000 in debt I didn't recognize. The way she'd talked down to me in front of her friends. The way nothing I did was ever enough. You should have done this a year ago, Timothy said. I know. You think she's figured it out yet? I checked my phone. 11:34 p.m. She's probably still at the club. She won't be home until after midnight. Maybe later. What do you think she'll do? I took a long drink of my beer and stared up at the stars. Honestly, I don't care anymore. And that was the truth. For the first time in 2 years, I didn't care what she thought, what she'd say, or how she'd react. I was done. I slept better that night than I had in months. Timothy's spare bed wasn't anything special, just a basic mattress with clean sheets. But I was out within minutes. Woke up at 6:15 a.m. to my phone buzzing. 18 missed calls, 32 text messages, all from her. I didn't read them, didn't listen to the voicemails. Just got dressed, grabbed coffee with Timothy, and headed to the lawyer's office. Douglas Morrow had been practicing family law for 23 years. His office was in a small building downtown, nothing fancy. When I'd first met with him 3 weeks ago, after discovering that credit card, he'd been straightforward. "If you're serious about this, I can help you. But once we file, there's no taking it back without looking weak. Are you sure?" I'd told him I'd think about it. Turns out I didn't need much time. He was already at his desk when I arrived at 8, papers spread out in front of him. "Got your voicemail last night," he said, gesturing to the chair across from him. "You ready to do this?" "Yeah." He slid a stack of papers across the desk. "I need you to sign here, here, and here. We'll file this morning. She'll be served by tomorrow afternoon at the latest." I signed. My hand didn't shake. "What about assets?" he asked. "The house is in both names, but I've been making the mortgage payments for the past 18 months. She contributes maybe $300 a month. The cars are titled separately. Mine's paid off. Hers still has 2 years left on the loan. Joint accounts. I removed my authorization yesterday. She can't access anything connected to my paycheck anymore. Set up a new account at a different bank this morning." He nodded, making notes. "Smart. What about debt?" "She opened a credit card in my name 6 months ago. Ran up $8,000. I found out 3 weeks ago when I checked my credit score." His eyebrows went up. "That's fraud." "I know. You want to press charges?" I thought about it. "Not yet, but keep that option open." "Fair enough." He gathered the papers into a folder. "All right. You're officially filing for divorce. No kids, no major shared assets besides the house. This should be straightforward. How do you think she'll react?" "Badly." He smiled just a bit. "They usually do." My phone buzzed again. Another call from her. I declined it. "One more thing," I said. "I left the house yesterday. Took all my stuff, left all of hers, left the keys on the counter. Smart move, clean break." I left his office and headed straight to work. Had a full day scheduled, including replacing some ancient pipes in the basement that had been leaking for weeks. The kind of work that keeps your hands busy and your mind clear. My supervisor, Harold, caught me during lunch break. He was old school, been working maintenance for 30 years. "You all right? You seem different today. Filed for divorce this morning." He nodded slowly, chewing his sandwich. "The one who kept calling you at work about stupid stuff?" "That's the one." "About time. You've been walking around here looking miserable for months." He took another bite. "My ex-wife was like that. Wanted everything, appreciated nothing. Best day of my life was when I signed those papers." "How long's it been?" 15 years. Married someone else after. Someone who actually gives a damn. Night and day difference." My phone buzzed. I glanced at it. A text from her. All caps. "Where are you? Call me right now." I put the phone in my locker and got back to work. By the time my shift ended at 5, I had 73 notifications. Calls, texts, voicemails. She'd even tried messaging me through social media. I blocked her on everything. Timothy was grilling burgers when I got back to his place. "She figured it out yet?" he asked, flipping a patty. "Oh yeah. Phone's been going crazy all day." "You gonna talk to her?" "Nope. Lawyer said not to. All communication goes through him now." Cold. Necessary. We ate on the back porch, watching the sun go down. It was quiet, peaceful. No demands, no arguments, no tension hanging in the air like smoke. "You know what's weird?" I said after a while. "What?" "I don't feel bad. Not even a little bit. I thought I would. Thought I'd feel guilty or sad or something. But I just feel relieved. Timothy nodded. That's because you've been done for a while. You just finally acted on it. He was right. I'd been done the moment I found that credit card statement. The one with her name on my account, charges from stores I'd never been to, restaurants I'd never eaten at. When I'd confronted her about it, she'd cried and said she'd been stressed, that she deserved to treat herself, that I was being controlling. That was when I called the lawyer. My phone buzzed one more time. A voicemail. Against my better judgment, I listened to it. Her voice was different now, not angry, scared. Please call me back. We need to talk about this. You can't just leave like this. What am I supposed to do? The mortgage is due in 2 weeks. I can't afford this by myself. Please just call me. I deleted it. Timothy looked at me. What did she say? That she can't afford the mortgage. Not your problem anymore. Nope. I went to bed that night with my phone on silent. Woke up the next morning to find she'd been served the divorce papers at her work. According to Douglas, she'd caused a scene in front of patients and co-workers. Security had to calm her down. She's demanding a meeting, Douglas told me over the phone. Wants to talk things out. I told her all communication goes through legal channels. Good. She hired an attorney, guy named Stevens from a discount legal service. Not exactly top tier. She can't afford top tier. Exactly. This is going to go faster than I thought. I hung up and got ready for work. Another 12-hour shift ahead. But for the first time in years, I wasn't dreading going home afterward, because I wasn't going home to her. The process server caught her at the dental office on a Wednesday afternoon, right in the middle of her shift, right in front of Dr. Hale and 2 patients in the waiting room. I heard about it from Douglas, who heard it from the process server. Apparently, she'd screamed, thrown the papers on the floor, and stormed into the back office. Dr. Hale had to apologize to the patients and handle the front desk himself for 20 minutes while she pulled herself together. She got sent home early that day. Meanwhile, I was replacing a broken water heater in the hospital's east wing, completely unbothered. My phone stayed in my locker during work hours now, turned off. No notifications, no distractions. You're working better lately, my co-worker Caleb mentioned during our afternoon break. More focused. Getting rid of dead weight, I said. He laughed. Amen to that. The divorce papers laid everything out clean. No reconciliation attempts, no mediation required. Split the house sale proceeds based on actual financial contribution. She keeps her car and its loan payments. I keep mine. She's responsible for the credit card debt in my name because she opened it. If she doesn't pay, I have grounds to press fraud charges. Douglas made sure every detail was documented. That evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Hello, you bastard. It wasn't her. It was Laya, her friend from the gym. Do you have any idea what you've done to her? She's devastated. Not my problem. She's your wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, and you should ask her about the credit card fraud before you call me the bad guy. Silence on the other end. Yeah, I continued. $8,000 in debt, in my name, without my permission. But sure, I'm the bastard. She said you abandoned her. I left a toxic situation. There's a difference. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have things to do. I hung up, blocked the number. Timothy walked into the kitchen where I was making dinner. That sounded fun. Her friend trying to guilt trip me. They always do that. They never ask what led to it. just assume you're the villain. She'll figure it out eventually. They all will. 2 days later, my prediction came true. I was at the hardware store picking up supplies for a weekend project when I ran into Cora, another one of her friends, the one who'd been with her at the mall when she saw that stupid bag. She saw me, and I watched her face change. Not angry, uncomfortable. "Hey," she said quietly. "Hey." She shifted her weight, looking like she wanted to leave but felt obligated to say something. "Look, I heard what happened. With the credit card thing." I waited. "I didn't know about that. She never mentioned it. She just said you were being controlling about money." "I was being responsible about money. There's a difference." "Yeah, I'm starting to see that." She glanced around, then back at me. "She's been calling all of us non-stop, asking for money, asking to stay over, asking us to talk to you. It's gotten really intense." Not surprised. She showed up at my apartment last night at 11, crying about how she can't afford the mortgage. Asked if she could borrow $3,000. "What did you say?" I said no. I don't have that kind of money just lying around. None of us do. She paused. She got angry, said some things. "We're not talking right now." I nodded. "She's burning bridges fast." Cora looked genuinely sad about it. I thought we were friends, but the way she's acting, it's like she only valued us for what we could give her. "Welcome to my world," she sighed. "For what it's worth, I get it now. Why you left. I'm sorry I didn't see it before." "Appreciate that." She left, and I finished my shopping. Drove back to Timothy's place, feeling oddly vindicated. I wasn't crazy. Other people were starting to see it too. That weekend, the house went up for sale. Douglas handled everything through the court. She couldn't stop it because she couldn't afford to buy me out, and she couldn't afford the mortgage alone. She tried to fight it anyway. Her lawyer filed a motion claiming she needed more time, that I was being unreasonable, that the house was her security. The judge denied it, told her attorney that financial responsibility wasn't optional, and if she couldn't make the payments, the house had to be sold. The listing went live on Tuesday. By Friday, we had 2 offers, both under asking price because the roof needed work. And the market was slow, but both legitimate. Douglas called me during my lunch break. "We've got offers. One for $220, one for $215. House is worth about $240, but with the roof and the market conditions, this is probably as good as it gets. Take the higher one." "Done. She's gonna lose her mind." Not my circus anymore. True enough. The sale closed 3 weeks later, after the mortgage was paid off and closing costs were covered. There was $41,000 left. Based on contribution records, I got $32,000. She got $9,000. She tried to challenge the split. Her lawyer argued it should be 50-50. Douglas pulled out 2 years of bank statements showing my income versus hers, my contributions versus hers. The judge sided with me in less than 5 minutes. I deposited the check and started looking for my own place. Nothing fancy. A small 2-bedroom house on the other side of town. Rent was $800 a month, utilities included. The landlord was an older woman who appreciated that I had stable employment and no debt. I moved in on a Saturday. Timothy helped me unload everything from his garage. "Gonna miss having you around," he said, setting down a box of kitchen supplies. "I'll still come by. You make better burgers than I do," he grinned. Truth. My phone rang. "Douglas." "Final hearing is scheduled for next month," he said. "Formality at this point. Judge signs off, divorce is official. You need to be there, but it'll be quick. She gonna be there? Her lawyer says yes. Fair warning, she might try to talk to you. I won't respond. Good, keep it that way. I hung up and looked around my new place. Empty walls, basic furniture, quiet. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No arguments, no demands, no tension, just peace. Timothy cracked open 2 beers and handed me one. To new beginnings. To freedom. We clinked bottles. And for the first time in years, I felt like my life was actually moving forward instead of just surviving day to day. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. I declined the call and blocked it. Whatever she wanted to say, I didn't need to hear it. 3 weeks into living alone, I realized how much energy I'd been wasting. Energy on arguments, on managing her moods, on walking carefully around topics that might set her off. Now that energy went into my life, my hobbies, my peace of mind. I started going to the gym again. Nothing crazy, just basic weights and cardio 3 times a week. Ran into one of the nurses from the hospital there, Molly. We'd talked a few times at work. Always friendly but professional. Didn't know you came here, she said, stepping off the treadmill next to mine. Just started back up. Needed to clear my head. I heard you're going through a divorce. Sorry about that. Word travels fast in a hospital. It does, she smiled. But thanks. It's for the best, though. Those are the right kind of divorces, she said. The ones that make life better, not worse. We ended up grabbing coffee after the workout. Nothing planned, just 2 people talking. She was easy to talk to, didn't pry, didn't judge. When I mentioned the credit card fraud, she just shook her head. That's messed up. My sister's ex did something similar. Opened accounts in her name. Tanked her credit score. Took her years to recover. How's she doing now? Great. Married to someone who actually respects her. Has 2 kids. Happy life. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you ends up being the best thing. I thought about that on the drive home. Maybe she was right. Meanwhile, my ex was falling apart. I heard bits and pieces through the grapevine. She'd moved into a cramped apartment with a roommate she found on some app. The roommate lasted 2 weeks before kicking her out for not paying rent. She moved again, this time into a place she could barely afford. Started missing shifts at work. Dr. Hale put her on probation after she showed up late 3 times in 2 weeks. Her parents reached out to me. Her dad called from a number I didn't have blocked. I know you 2 are done, he said, his voice tired. I'm not calling to change your mind. I just want you to know we don't blame you. We tried to raise her better than this. I appreciate that. She called us last night, asked for $5,000, said she was desperate, that it was our fault for not teaching her about money. He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. We gave her every advantage, paid for her college, helped with her first car, and this is what she does with it. You're not giving her the money? No, her mother and I talked about it. We're not enabling this anymore. She needs to figure this out herself. That's probably the right call. Take care of yourself, he said. You deserved better than how she treated you. The call ended, and I sat there feeling oddly grateful. Her own parents saw it, saw what I'd been dealing with. That validation meant more than I expected. The final hearing arrived on a Thursday morning. I showed up in a button-down shirt and clean jeans. Douglas met me outside the courtroom. Simple process, he reminded me. Judge reviews the agreement, asks if you both consent, signs the papers. 10 minutes tops. She here? In there with her lawyer. Fair warning, she looks rough. We walked in. She was sitting at the other table with Stevens, her discount attorney. Douglas was right. She looked terrible. Hair pulled back messily, dark circles under her eyes, clothes wrinkled. Nothing like the put-together image she used to maintain. She saw me, and her eyes went wide. Started to stand up like she wanted to come over, but Stevens put a hand on her arm and shook his head. The judge entered. We all stood, then sat. Case number 47B, divorce proceedings. I've reviewed the settlement agreement. All assets divided. No shared custody or support arrangements. Is this correct? Yes, Your Honor, Douglas said. Yes, Stevens added, though he sounded less confident. The judge looked at me. Do you agree to these terms? Yes, Your Honor. Then to her. Do you agree to these terms? She hesitated. Stevens leaned over and whispered something. She swallowed hard. Yes. Then, by the power vested in me by this state, I declare this marriage dissolved. Divorce is final as of today's date. You're both free to go. The gavel came down. That was it. 2 years of marriage over in less than 8 minutes. I stood up. Douglas shook my hand. Congratulations, you're officially a free man. I turned to leave, and that's when she moved. Stood up fast, her chair scraping the floor. Wait, please. Can we just talk for 1 minute? I kept walking. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry about everything. The bag, the credit card, all of it. I was wrong. Can't we try again? Go to counseling or something. I stopped at the door, turned around, looked at her directly. No. Her face crumpled. Stevens was trying to guide her back to her seat, but she pulled away. You can't just throw away everything we had. I didn't throw it away. You did. Every time you chose your wants over our needs, every time you disrespected me, every time you took without giving anything back, you threw it away. And now you're dealing with the consequences. That's not fair. Life's not fair. You taught me that. I walked out, heard her crying behind me, but I didn't stop, didn't look back. Douglas caught up with me in the parking lot. That was cold. That was necessary. She's probably going to keep trying to contact you. She can try. I won't answer. I drove back to work and finished my shift. That evening, I went to the gym, ran into Molly again. How'd it go? She asked. It's done. Official as of this morning. How do you feel? I thought about it. Light. Like I've been carrying a heavy backpack for years and finally got to put it down. She smiled. That's a good feeling. Want to grab dinner sometime? Actual dinner, not just gym coffee. I'd like that. We exchanged numbers, made plans for Saturday. That night, lying in my bed in my quiet apartment, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not for what I'd lost, but for what was ahead. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. I already knew who it was, didn't even read it, just blocked and deleted. I was done looking backward. 2 months after the divorce was final, life had settled into a rhythm I actually enjoyed. Work, gym, dinners with Molly, weekends working on my house. Simple, peaceful. Molly and I had been seeing each other regularly. Nothing rushed, just taking our time. She was different from my ex in every way that mattered. She paid for her own meals, never expected gifts, and actually listened when I talked. You seem happier, Timothy said one Saturday while we grilled steaks at his place. Like yourself again. I feel like myself again. My phone rang. Unknown number. I declined it automatically now. She's still trying? He asked. Every few days, different numbers. I just blocked them. What I didn't tell Timothy was that I'd heard through Harold at work that she'd lost her job at the dental office. Too many absences, too much drama. Dr. Hale finally let her go. She'd also wrecked her car. Not totaled, but enough damage that insurance wouldn't cover all of it. Since she couldn't afford the deductible, it sat in a shop somewhere accumulating storage fees. Her social media had gone quiet. The endless posts about brunch and shopping trips and nights out had stopped. Last I'd accidentally seen before blocking her completely, she was posting vague things about fake friends and hard times. Meanwhile, I'd gotten a small raise at work. Nothing huge, but Harold had put in a good word about my improved performance. The extra $200 a month meant I could finally start putting money away for the future. Molly and I went to a baseball game that weekend. Nothing fancy, just cheap seats and hot dogs. She wore jeans and a team shirt, her hair in a ponytail, laughing at my terrible jokes. "This is nice," she said during the 7th inning. "Just being here. No pressure, no expectations." "That's what it should be." She looked at me. "Your ex really did a number on you, huh?" "Yeah, but I'm past it now." "Good, because you deserve someone who appreciates what they have." On the way home, we drove past a bus stop. Someone was sitting there in the rain, hood up, looking miserable. For a split second, I thought it might be her. But I didn't slow down to check. Didn't matter if it was. That part of my life was over. 3 months in, Molly met Timothy. They got along immediately, joking about my terrible taste in music and my refusal to watch romantic comedies. "He's good for you," Timothy told me later. "She's good for you." "I know." "You think it's serious?" "Could be. We're not rushing, but yeah, it feels right." My ex tried one more time. Showed up at the hospital, asking security where I worked. They wouldn't tell her, and when she refused to leave, they escorted her out. Harold mentioned it casually the next day. "Some woman was looking for you yesterday. Security had to remove her. You know anything about that?" "My ex, she's having trouble letting go." "Want us to file a no trespass order?" "Not yet. But if she comes back, yeah." She didn't come back. 6 months after leaving, I was genuinely happy. Not just content, not just okay, happy. The kind of happy where you wake up and don't dread the day ahead. Molly stayed over some weekends. We talked about the future carefully, making sure we wanted the same things. No rush, no pressure, just 2 people building something healthy. One Sunday morning, she made pancakes in my kitchen while I did the dishes from the night before. "You know what I like about this?" she said. "What?" "It's easy. Being with you is easy. No drama, no games, just us." "That's how it should be." She kissed me. "Yeah, it is." My phone stayed silent these days. No unknown numbers, no desperate messages, no guilt trips, just peace. I'd made the right choice. A year later, I was sitting in Molly's apartment helping her pack. She was moving in with me. We'd talked about it for months, made sure we were both ready. No rushing, no pressure. "You sure about this?" she asked, taping up a box of books. "Absolutely." Timothy was helping us load the truck when my phone rang. "Douglas, just wanted to update you. Your ex declared bankruptcy last month. The credit card debt got discharged. Thought you should know." "Does that affect me?" "No. The fraud documentation protected you. She's the only one who took the hit to her credit." "All right. Thanks for letting me know." I hung up. Timothy raised an eyebrow. She filed bankruptcy? Rough. Yeah. But I didn't feel bad. She'd made her choices. I'd made mine. That evening, after everything was moved in, Molly and I ordered pizza and ate on the couch. Her couch now mixed with mine. Her dishes in the cabinets with mine. Building a life together the right way. Harold told me they're looking for a supervisor position in maintenance, she mentioned. You should apply. Think I'd get it? You're the best worker they have. Of course you'd get it. 2 weeks later, I got the promotion. More responsibility. Better pay. Actual benefits. The kind of stability I'd never had during my marriage, because every extra dollar had gone to her wants. 6 months after Molly moved in, we were grocery shopping when I saw her, my ex, standing at the bus stop outside the store, holding shopping bags from the dollar store. She looked tired, older than she should. She saw me, saw Molly, saw the wedding ring on Molly's finger that I'd proposed with 3 months earlier. For a moment, our eyes met through the car window. I looked away and kept driving. Molly squeezed my hand. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. And I was. That part of my life was completely behind me. No anger, no regret, no what-ifs. Just gratitude that I'd found the strength to leave when I did. That night, Molly fell asleep on my shoulder while we watched a movie. The house was quiet, peaceful. Hours passed without a single notification, a single demand, a single fight. My phone sat on the table, silent. No unknown numbers, no blocked calls, no drama. Just texts from Timothy about next weekend's cookout and a reminder about my dentist appointment. Simple, easy, happy. I'd chosen myself when it mattered most. And in doing so, I found everything I actually needed. The couch she'd wanted me to sleep on. I donated it months ago. Didn't need it anymore. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.